Hello friends, and a good day to all. William Newell here, and it is a good day, despite the fact that there's been so much rain, although thankfully that has now eased and the sun is out. It has rained quite a bit recently, and the weather has not really been all that warm, and some days have been extremely windy, but we have to make the best of what we have been given. And that is exactly what I did one day in Newcastle, although to be honest, that particular day was anything but pleasant. The wind was howling, the sky was grey, the mountains were covered in mist, and there was the threat of rain. But I took my camera out nevertheless, and here is the result. And you know, if you've ever braved an onshore gale, especially coming up to high tide at a coastal location, it is very dramatic to watch. Of course, you don't want to put yourself in any danger, nor do you want to get covered in spray. But having said that, if you can find a safe place to stand, you could stay there for ages watching the waves crashing in. It's almost like therapeutic, in a funny sort of way. Here are some of the waves. Now, they're not the biggest I've ever seen, but still, they're nice to look out over. Now, I have to say, it's not always like this in Newcastle. Just the day before we were at Tullymore, just outside the town, and it was glorious. You might have seen that from last week's video, with all the nice sunshine and clear blue skies. Today, however, it's completely the opposite, but equally beautiful in a different sort of way. I have to say, it's nice to be standing on dry, solid ground watching out as the waves crash against the shore. But we must surely spare a thought for those who are out in little boats. Boats just like this one. It's not for me. But I must say, I have the uttermost admiration for those who go out to sea on days like this, just so that we can enjoy fresh fish. In the meanwhile, I'm going to read a psalm. Psalm 46. It begins, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob. He is our fortress. I've been thinking about God as our refuge, and we all need a place of refuge. Refuge from the storms that batter about us, from the waves that threaten to sink us in the ocean of life, as so many experience it today. The waves and storms of anxiety, uncertainty, hardship, economic crisis, and an inflation that is spiralling out of control. The threat and reality of war is beginning to affect us all, and we stand firm with those who are fleeing persecution and fighting. We just seem to go from one crisis to another, and it is relentless. We are like a small boat in a restless ocean from where there is no escape from the swell around us. It is overwhelming. And yet there is a place of refuge. The psalmist speaks of it in many of his writings, and he too was speaking from experience. Because trouble is nothing new in the world, and he faced it as well. A refuge is a place of safety, and the psalmist knew where he felt safe, because his refuge was in God. Listen to what he says in Psalm 31. And as I read the psalm, I'm showing some of the footage from the harbour in Newcastle. Notice how peaceful it is inside the harbour, and yet outside, the waves are crashing up against the wall. And yes, the spray may at times make its way over the walls. But that is really of little consequence, because inside the harbour, everything is peaceful and sheltered. It is a refuge from the storm. This is Psalm 31. In you, O Lord, do I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness deliver me. Incline your ear to me. Rescue me speedily. Be a rock of refuge for me, a strong fortress to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress, and for your name's sake you lead me and you guide me. You take me out of the net they have hidden for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hand I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord, faithful God. Outside you really are at the mercy of the waves, but inside the harbour wall there is safety and security. That's what it is to be in Christ, and to know God as our refuge and strength. And that's what it is to trust in God. Friend, do you believe that? If you do, then put your life into His hands. Now, I'm not saying that'll solve all your problems and make all your troubles go away, but it certainly does give us a new perspective and a fresh hope. You will have someone who will walk beside you and who promises never to leave us or forsake us. And along with that, the assurance of sins forgiven and a home in heaven. I'm still recording in Newcastle. The storm has now passed and it's all calm. The sun is setting across the harbour and the tide is coming in, only now it's much more gentle than before. As we watch, let me read again from the Psalms. Psalm 118. And again the writer is reiterating his trust in the Lord. And with that comes the reminder of peace when the storm is past. He writes, "Out of my distress I called on the Lord, and the Lord answered me and set me free. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me? The Lord is on my side as my helper. I shall look in triumph on those who hate me. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes." Well, that's all, friends. I'll see you again in a fortnight's time. Bye.